Hey, how you doing? My name is Mark. I'm coming to you live from My Vegas Magazine, and today we're going to be digging in to find out everything we can about the amazing Frankie Scinta. Frankie, how are you?
Great to be here.
Welcome to the show here. Now, Frankie, we're going to be doing a cover story on Frankie, and but we thought we'd kind of do it live right here to give you a sneak peek and behind the scenes of what our interview is like with Frankie, and we're going to get to know Mr. Scinta, the famous. Now, I call him Mr. Vegas because if you haven't seen his show, it's a perfect picture of what Vegas was and should still be. But you know, it's in the changing world we're in. Entertainment is changing as well.
Oh yeah.
But you know, the days gone by and the culture of Vegas, I think you capture that in such a way that it makes me feel like I'm home again. I grew up in this town, and your show makes me feel like this is my Vegas.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never meant it to be that way, but I guess it's what Vegas used to be. I guess entertainers at the time were just all entertaining the same way. They did comedy, they did music, they did, they broke people's oranges. It was all part of the whole picture.
Yeah, it was. Those were some amazing days. But before we go into the Vegas scene, I want to talk to you a little bit. Now, how long you been in Vegas?
Been almost 20 years now.
Almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years.
So before the 20 years, there was the Frankie before Vegas, and we want to find out a little bit about that. So, like, first of all, Frankie, if you don't know Frankie and the Frankie Scinta, the showman, his show, what's the formal name?
Frankie Scinta, the showman.
Frankie Scinta, the showman.
The showman. And I didn't pick that name.
I like it. It's a great name.
My musical director did, but he believed that he said that's what a showman is, somebody that does everything,
Yeah,
and you do it all.
he does.
And I just love to do it. I've lived to do it since I was a kid.
But it didn't start in Vegas. So
No,
let's
God,
go
no.
back to the very beginning.
My uncles were here.
Your uncles were here.
Yeah, but I couldn't
They were
come.
running the town. You couldn't.
Well,
you
I don't
can't.
know about that.
Now you told me, I think earlier that you had been on the Merv Griffin show and stuff
Yep.
like that. But that was a child. How old were you then?
I was 11.
11 years old. Were you doing this since you were 5? I mean, when did you start? When did you pick up a microphone?
Well, my grandpa passed away when I was 6, and my brother was 9 years older than me.
Okay.
And out of 27 grandchildren, he left us his instruments, his
Oh.
guitars, his mandolin, and that's how the whole damn thing started. I mean, I just started picking up the guitar, playing chords, and I did it all by ear. So did Joey. By the age of 7, I was on local TV.
Man.
Unbelievable. But I was singing these old Sicilian songs. I remember the first song I sang was about a donkey. It was some sad song about, a guy that lost his donkey. And in Sicily, the donkey was everything. It was your ride into town.
Sure.
It would carry your load from what you bought. It was maybe, when your wife wasn't around,
Whatever.
it was your best friend.
Your best friend.
So the song I did, it was a contest show. So little kids are doing the Beatles, they're doing, Nat King Cole, whatever they were doing, and I came out with the Sicilian song. Of course, I lost
It's a donkey song.
the donkey song.
All right.
It's called Chicaredo, which
Hey.
means little donkey, and I lost, but I knew I loved it. I loved.
After you got the bug.
Yeah, man. I knew right there and then this is what I'm going to do. And I continued to play the guitar. I would bring it to school, ask the teacher, hey, could I play for the class today?
Wow.
Not today.
Not today.
Not today. But sometimes she would, when we had a break, instead of a nap.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, little Frankie. So I would play the guitar and do some Beatles stuff.
Wow.
And by the age of 9, my uncle had, one of my 7 uncles, had a friend who had a banjo thrown up in an attic, all broken apart. So he asked my dad, do you want it? My dad said, absolutely, I'll put it together. My father put it together. Lo and behold, I went to a teacher who showed me the rudimentary chords, C, G, F. By the age of 10, I was on national TV, the Ted Mack Amateur Hour. Now, you're old enough to remember
Oh
that.
my God.
Ted Mack,
At 10 years old.
10 years old,
Okay.
singing Al Jolson songs. Tut tut tootsie goodbye, and California, here I come. And from there, I did the Jerry Lewis Telethon in New York City
Okay.
at the Americana Hotel.
Wow.
And from that, I got called on to the Merv Griffin show by the time I was 11. And it was uphill. I mean, and I was in the paper. Boy with 1,000 Fingers goes to New York.
Wow.
It was very cool. And then I became a teenager and I wasn't cute anymore, as you can see.
Wait a second. Now this is all based out of you were born
Buffalo,
raised-
New York.
Buffalo, New York. Just want to
Buffalo,
make sure we
New
got
York.
that on record.
My hometown.
Now, I met you and hung out with you, Frankie, here 100 times, but this is all exciting because I didn't know the backstory. So keep going.
See, I never talk about it. I really
all
don't. By the time I was 13 years old, my uncle was head of the truck drivers union in Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
And in his union hall, they had this old upright piano. They knew I loved music. He told my dad, Joe, would you like a piano? He goes, how the heck am I going to get that up in the house? We lived in a garage apartment. There's a picture, too, in the magazine.
I think I saw that.
You
Where-
did
where-
the black and white
second
photo?
story?
Yep.
All right.
And it was like 900 square feet.
Wow.
And it was a palace because it was home,
Sure.
Everybody has a house that
Yes.
they grew up in. So it took about 8 Teamsters to move this up the stairs.
Okay.
I got it in there. We had it tuned. I was playing piano. By the time I was 16 or 17, had my own band playing guitar, keyboards. My band was called Midnight Sun.
I was going to ask you, what was the name of your first band? Midnight Sun.
Midnight Sun.
All right.
That was it, man. I even copyrighted the name or whatever you did back then.
How'd you come up with that name, Midnight Sun?
I don't know how the heck I did. I just thought, I think it was because we were always up late.
Okay.
And, our midnight was when the sun came
Was
up.
either midnight or there's the sun.
There it is. And we had a logo and everything, and my girlfriend was in it. Her name was Rosary D'Amico, beautiful Italian girl. And we did the duets, all the guy-girl duets at the time. And we had a great band. My keyboard player went on to be the musical director for the Letterman for a lot of years.
Wow.
But I just kept performing locally in Buffalo. And then when I was 18 years old, I get a call from Paul McGuire, who was a color commentator for ESPN. He was an ex-Buffalo Bill, a kicker, and he had a little place in Buffalo called McGuire's Arches. Arches, like a kicker.
Sure, yeah, all right.
So he calls me. My brother Joe has his van packed to move to Florida within a week.
Okay.
Paul McGuire calls my dad's house, and we're all sitting there, as we did every night in an Italian family. You eat, then you have coffee, then you have a snack.
Manja,
right. So I said, Paul McGuire, and I'm looking at my dad, I'm going, it's Paul McGuire. So I go, yeah, I'd love to. Well, I don't work alone. Me and my brother, we're a duo. And my brother's going, I'm moving. He's in the background going, I'm out of here. I go, yeah, we'll audition. Absolutely. Yep. All right, great. Hung up the phone. My brother's with flail in his arm. What are you, nuts? I go, Joe, this is an opportunity for you to stay home. We'll be the Scinta brothers.
Ooh.
What a great thing. I thought of a name. What else could I, of course, couldn't think of like Beatles or anything. Mm-hmm. So I said, we're the Scinta brothers. Well, we started playing there. To make a long story short, we auditioned, did the weekend. Within 6 months, you couldn't get in this place unless you knew somebody.
Wow.
You had to know somebody to just get in the building. And it was a piano bar.
No kidding.
And it became so packed that the piano stools with people sitting there were obstructing the view of the other 200 people in the bar. So my father said to Paul McGuire, those chairs got to move. And Paul McGuire, he said, yeah. Well, those people drink, they spend a lot. So one night, my father was very calm and cool. He said, Paul, he never yelled, if those chairs aren't gone when I come there tonight, it's my boy's last night. Oh, wow. So we wanted to work that night. The chairs were gone.
Oh.
With that, I had some Fresnel lights that I took from my high school.
Okay.
There were 3 of them.
All right.
A pink one for me, a pink one for Joe, and a green one.
Okay.
Why?
Why?
My first impression, Kermit the Frog.
Oh.
It's not easy being green. Of course, I'm a little hoarse right now.
Doing that since then?
Since then.
I didn't know.
So, and we hired a kid for $5 a night, my next door neighbor, to turn the lights. Like when I would do Kermit,
you need green,
and then when I go to Sinatra, but green can be the color of, the light would go back pink, and then it would go back to green. We didn't even have dimmers. So we built a dimmer board. Honest to God. And we had, I know you know this sound system, a Shure Vocal Master sound system with the tall cabinets. And we started doing that. Within a year, we get a visit from the owner of the Buffalo Playboy Club, who happened to be Sicilian, Jimmy Cosentino.
No kidding.
Comes in, sees us once, sees us twice. Third time, I want to talk to you. Yes, sir. Whatever he's paying you, I'll pay you double.
Wow. Nice.
So I go, what? Whatever he's paying you, I'll pay you double. Come and look at the room. It was a showroom. He had just finished a Folly show that he was losing $100,000 a year on or more.
Wow.
He hires the Scinta brothers.
No kidding.
$400 a piece a week. We were rich.
That's like 4,000 now.
We were rich.
Yeah.
Honest to God. So we were ecstatic. We started drawing 1,000 people, 800, 1,500 a night. And there was a dance band. It was on a round stage with a curtain in the middle.
Playboy Club, where was this at?
Buffalo, New York, right across from the airport.
Okay.
It was called the Executive Hotel. Anyway, the stage was like, if you picture a dish with a curtain in the middle, we would finish our show, and as we're finishing, the stage would turn, and there was a dance band. Western New York's premier dance band. Rick James would come in, sit in. I mean, all these big, the Buffalo Bills, the Buffalo Sabres, this was the place to be.
Place to be. And you had that gig?
I had that gig for 15 years.
15 years.
We started touring Playboy clubs, which brought us to places like Ohio, Michigan, Chicago, Florida.
Wow.
And we didn't even have a drummer.
Wow.
Joey and me and Chrissy.
So, just the three of you were doing all the Playboy clubs.
Yep.
You did the whole circuit. I didn't know.
Scinta Brothers featuring Chrissy now at this point. And finally, in Great Gorge, New Jersey, at a Playboy club, a guy comes up to us, real New York accent, long hair, good-looking guy. Goes, I'm Frankie G. I play drums. Oh, that's great. He goes, could I sit in with you one? I'll bring my drums in and set up. I look at my brother, I look at my dad. Yeah, bring him in.
All right.
We rehearsed maybe for an hour. He played that night, and he was with us 10 years.
Wow.
And it was a good feeling because we never thought we needed a drummer. And I did everything. You don't know me that way, but I did everything at the piano. People in Vegas have no idea that the whole show was done from me at the piano, Joe on the bass.
Well, I got a couple questions on this at this point. That brings up another point. You play so many instruments. Let's count them out. The piano, obviously, in your show now. The
Guitar, banjo, mandolin, bass guitar, almost every string and percussion instrument.
And the spoons.
The spoons. There's no show without the spoons.
Okay.
They got to have the spoons.
So that's at least 6 that I know about.
That is.
All right.
And I play the drums too.
And the drums. Oh yeah, I think I saw one night you sat in or something. He got up and you kept it going or something.
Yeah.
Wow, amazing there. I want to ask you now about the Playboy Club. You said that went about 10 years.
Almost 15
year
years.
run. And how old were you when the Playboy Club came to an end?
I was in my 20s. I remember, Playboy wasn't the big thing anymore.
Okay.
People didn't want to pay to be a member, and so Jimmy turned it back into the executive. He was very smart businessman, and we continued to play there. The Playboy clubs weaned out, which opened the door for us though for places like Atlantic City, which was we played Trump's Plaza.
Okay.
And Ivana Trump would come see us all the time. She'd come to see us, and we did that for 35 years, traveling that little Midwest and East Coast circuit.
I interviewed Pia Zadora, and she had was around there in those days too, and her journey to Vegas. Did you ever run into her?
No, not until I moved here.
Not till here.
I love her though.
Oh, she's
a funny girl.
She's a kick in the pants. Now we're going to take a little short break here. A little pause for the cause. We'll be right back with more on Frankie Scinta. We're going to find out those were the before Vegas years, and I want to hear about how he wound up in this crazy town, my Vegas. I'm Mark. We'll be right back. Hey, we're back with Frankie Scinta, the showman, here live at My Vegas Magazine. Now, let's check this out. Frankie, we left off in the last one talking about Tony Orlando, all the people that have been on your stage before, that have come out of the audience, celebrities that have come up to see you and enjoy your show. Then you pull them up on stage, and Tony Orlando, you were about to tell us he came up and sang behind you, and I guess what happened after that?
I was singing a song. I faked a note.
Okay.
I faked a note. It says, "Oh, dear, I love you all, but Frankie, you're the hottest. And if you would do a Tony Orlando song for me, I'll do anything for you." And I go, "Wow, this is great." Joe did the same thing. "Well, this is your writing," and I'm going, "No, it ain't." I go, "Come on, guys." So I had it all set up with Tony Orlando.
Oh, you did? Okay.
He's in a tuxedo. He's backstage. I start singing, "Hey, girl, what you doing down there? Dancing alone right?" All of a sudden, the whole audience starts screaming and cheering. Well, I turn around like I don't know, and Tony Orlando's standing there like this. And he goes, "You know that your Sinatra is great. Your Dean Martin is impeccable. That's the worst Tony Orlando I ever heard." I said, "Well, if you could do better."
Oh.
And of course, he sang it and brought the house down.
Yeah.
The greatest moment of my life, I think, ever on stage was when we performed for Ronald Reagan.
Really? Tell
At
us
the
about
White
that.
House. Well, I had written a song called "Drug Free America."
Okay.
I had a problem
Okay.
with nose candy.
Okay.
And the day I quit was late 1986, the day I threw my 2-year-old son on the ground for waking me up.
Oh.
And I body slammed this little boy.
Oh.
And I didn't hurt him, but I did, and it broke his heart.
Yeah.
I quit that day cold turkey.
Wow.
To make a long story short, I threw $500 worth of cocaine out of my bedroom window, and I never turned back. Never. I wrote a song, started writing a song called "Drug Free America."
Okay.
We'll have a drug-free America.
I've heard this song.
All
Yeah, yeah,
across the land we'll be free. The song went nationwide. We get invited to the White House for Nancy Reagan's Just Say No campaign.
Yeah.
My
wow.
song was the theme song for that campaign.
Nice.
So after we performed the song, now I've never been nervous on stage, ever. Ever. I can't wait to get a... I use a volume pedal for my violins. The
Okay.
piano's a constant volume. I created the setup, actually.
All right.
And then I would bring the violins, the same notes, but I could swell them. My foot was shaking so bad. The violins were going, wee, wee, wee. So I had to just set the volume where I wanted it.
And leave it alone.
And then leave it alone. So after we're done, Secret Service says, when you're done, go sit right back in your seats. So, of course, we did what they said. And we sit down. After Reagan spoke and leaves, Secret Service walks up to me and goes, "Mr. Scinta, the president would like to meet you personally."
Wow.
So I'm going, "Come on." And he goes, "Yes, sir."
How about
So
that?
we go through 3 metal detectors. Me, Joey, Chrissy. We walk through 3 metal detectors.
Okay.
We go into a little room this size, right here.
All right.
It's the president, Nancy Reagan, and a photographer. That's it.
Wow.
They locked us in the room. And I walked up to Reagan, and I went to hug him, because that's the Sicilian.
10 guys jumped on you.
No, nobody was there. I went to hug him, and then I pulled my arm back, because I'm thinking, this is the president of the United States, idiot. So I looked up at him, and I said, I had tears in my eyes.
Wow.
And I go, "May I?" He looks down at me, and he goes, "Yes, you may."
Wow.
And I hugged him around the neck, and he lifted me off the ground.
Wow.
And when he put me down, there's a picture that I sent you that you'll see
Okay.
of me and him arm in arm, and I'm looking up at him like this.
Wow.
What a moment in my life.
Wow.
That
That's
was
amazing.
That was incredible.
I mean, who could say they met a president, let alone like got to perform for him
And hug him.
and hug him and
Who
hang out?
touches a president? Who
Hey,
touches a
hey,
president?
don't touch.
There ain't nobody hugging the current president, that's for
Man.
sure. but hugging Reagan was amazing to me.
Wow.
And since then, I performed for. We met Bill Clinton.
What year was that?
That was '88.
Okay.
A year plus after I wrote and released the song, and that took me on a nationwide tour, doing drug-free concerts and seminars, and prisons, correctional facilities all over the United States. I was working under the White House Conference for a Drug-Free America. It was pretty incredible.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I want to talk about all those entertainers that have been on your stage, and same with you. It's got to be like a family when you feeling when you're with all your other fellow musicians up on stage. But you've got your musical family. But let's talk a little bit about your. You've told me some fascinating things, Frankie has about your personal family. You've got some little ones that I saw on your Facebook. You're really proud of. But let's go with who's Mrs. Scinta.
Mrs. Scinta is Jackie Scinta. Jackie Scinta is from Buffalo.
Okay.
We met. I was dating a friend of hers.
Okay.
We were just dating.
All right.
And whenever we went out, I had more fun with Jackie than I did with the girl.
Oh, really?
Well, the girl I was dating was nice. She was beautiful, but she was one of these. And Jackie wanted to dance, and I wanted to dance.
All right.
And one night we were at a bar, and we were sweating and dancing. I think it's a Michael Jackson music or something. You know, when what was the Off the Wall album came out, and we walked outside and we're sweating, and I just looked at her and I said, "You know what I want more than anything right now?" And she says, "What?" I said, "I want to kiss you."
Wow.
And I kissed her, and 6 months later she was pregnant.
Oh wow.
So my son Frankie was at our wedding, in her stomach.
Okay.
We got married, and we've been married 38 years.
38 years.
38 years.
She's been along the
and
whole
she
ride.
still likes me.
And she still likes you.
A little bit.
She's been on the whole ride.
She's been there, man. The ups, the downs,
The ins and
the
outs.
good Frankie, the bad Frankie.
The White House, the doghouse.
The doghouse.
From the White House to the doghouse.
Yep. You know, losing my brother was a tough one because we were partners on stage for 43 years.
Yeah. Now I was there when that happened. That was 2 years ago now?
Yep, November 17th, 17.
What a shocker. The whole town was shocked.
It was tough losing somebody, not only that was your brother that you looked up to and loved, but a partner on stage for so many years. But I knew one thing. I can't stop. I can't slow down. I can't look back, right or left. I got to keep moving. And I performed the night he passed. Because that's the way he would have wanted it, and that's the way I would have wanted it if it was me. The show goes on, but when I'm not performing, I'm Papa. There's no greater word. I've been called a lot of things, good and bad, but the word Papa is just, I get tears in my eyes just thinking about it.
Now, how many call you Papa?
Well, 4 that can talk. Well, 2 are too little.
Really? There's 6 altogether.
There's little Frankie.
Okay.
Frankie was first. He's 7. It's my son.
All right.
Sicilians can't think of names, so it's Frankie, my son Frankie, and then
His
Frankie.
son Frankie.
Yeah, Frankie Jr. I didn't make my son a junior because my initials were FDS, feminine deodorant spray.
Oh, for crying out loud.
So I wouldn't give him the
don't
David
put that on
name.
your son, yeah.
No, so he's Frank Joseph. So little Frankie's Frank Jr.
Okay.
Then my daughter got married, and she had a little Dominic.
All
He's
right.
6.
All right.
Then she had another baby 2 years after that, a little girl, Vivian Gray, and she's 4 and a handful. And then my son, 4 years after Frankie was born, had Charlie Carmela.
Okay.
And then 9 months ago, we've never had twins in the Scinta.
Oh, I am
Not
Judy.
even Kunta Scinta had twins. Danielle had twins. In fact, I got the video of the girl doing the, what's it called? The
C-section?
No, when they do the,
Sewing it up?
you can say it.
Ultrasound.
Ultrasound.
Yes, sounds like. I'm so glad she's here.
Thank you.
She was doing the ultrasound. She goes, "Do you have twins in your family ever?" My daughter goes, "God, that's funny." She goes, "No. There's 2 heartbeats in there."
There's 2. Oh,
My
oh
daughter,
God.
every vernacular that you could imagine that I would use, my daughter used on camera. You gotta be kidding me, and there's no way. Oh my God, she was laughing and crying. Well, now I got little Dean and little Leo, and they're
2 boys.
loves them.
Identical or fraternal?
Fraternal.
Okay.
Leo's all muscle and solid and breaks everything he touches. Dean is piano. He's so nice and calm. And they're 2 different babies.
How about that?
So You see, I get verklempt talking about them. So I'm very much in love with those kids. When I'm not working, I'm Papa. If I'm not sitting on my couch watching the news or Judge Judy, or on my computer sending emails to you and around the country, I'm Papa, either in the jacuzzi with the kids, and we do that all winter. Papa, we want to go in the jacuzzi. It could be 40 degrees out.
Now you told me about these family home afternoons or whatever. You said that you get the whole family there. You guys are having fun at the house and the food. And I'm just waiting for my invitation because it sounds like the family.
You need to
the days
come.
of my old family.
You
days.
have to. Listen, after dinner.
And the food.
The food is. My wife learned to cook like an old Sicilian. She learned from my father and my mother, who learned from their fathers and mothers. So she's an incredible cook. When you eat at my house, you know, some houses you go to, if there's 6 people, they cook 6 potatoes. Well, at my house, she cooks 20 potatoes. You know, there's always enough left over for everybody to bring something home. And that's the way we've been our whole lives. My father was that way. And we eat well at my house. As you can see, I need to lose some weight. But we eat good. I do. I'm big.
You know, we talked every now and then about one day I'd like to see the Scinta restaurant. What about your wife and her recipes?
Yes, they would
Imagine
definitely
that.
be a part of that.
Would they be a part of that?
Yeah, she wouldn't want to work there because she's too busy being grandma
Okay.
and spending money on the grandkids.
There you go.
But yes, there are some great recipes. In fact, if people go online, we did a TV show with Joey Fatone from NSYNC called My Family Recipe Rocks.
Okay.
And it was the Scintas. And we made stuffed artichokes, homemade sausage, from the pork butt to the grinder,
Wow.
and then buffalo wings on the grill, Scinta style. And let me tell you something. You got to come. But that stuff happens after dinner, though. The chicken wings and all the snacks, that happens after.
Oh, that's just the snacks. Okay, well I'll save up my appetite.
Save your appetite.
But wow, yeah, I'd love to try. I'd love to try that. Some of that Scinta cooking.
We sit in the yard, we bring out a guitar, we sing, we drink, we laugh, we cry. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Frankie Scinta family. Now, Chrissy, let's talk about her for a second. So, Chrissy, in 2000, I think it was 2000 or 2001. I was running a Las Vegas Bride magazine, and I had ran into her somehow or got her number somehow, and I put her on the front cover.
Yep, and she wasn't even a bride, but she sure looked gorgeous in that dress.
Yeah, beautiful.
So little thing.
And I asked her, where do you want to shoot it at? And she said, in front of the Hilton, because I guess that's where you guys were playing
Yep,
back
we were
then.
playing there.
So how about that? I had no clue why we were at that hotel, but now I do, because that was your host hotel at the time.
That was it. Man, that's very cool.
I remember
Very
those
cool.
days. So we go back a little bit farther. The next time I saw you was at Chris's Zoe Bowie show, and you were on the side of the stage.
Yes.
I said, "Wow, that's Frankie Scinta." I said, "That's amazing. He's here watching this guy."
I can't believe people think that way about me at all.
Yeah.
No, because I'm just a guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know there's some entertainers that think they're, but we're all just nobody. All of us, no matter how big you are.
Yeah, I idolized you all
Oh,
along
that's
where I saw
very
you.
nice.
But then when I got to know you and got to hang out with you, we met at judging that Miss Nevada.
That was
That
great.
was you and me.
That was great.
And,
Judging beautiful girls, which I hate to do because they're all beautiful to me.
That's where I met you, and that we were sequestered for 3 days in a hotel.
Yes.
On the judging
Don't
panel.
tell all the stories.
Oh, and it was so fun and meeting you. And that's where we got to know Pia really well.
Yes.
and
We became
everybody.
pretty close. That was a fun time.
That was.
We should get sequestered again.
I did not want to do those 3 days. I was like driving down to that hotel thinking, what did I get myself into?
Same deal.
3 days later, I left. I said, I am so glad I did that.
Yep.
'Cause I got to meet you and Pia and all the crew there and Kendall and everybody. And
Absolutely amazing.
what a great bunch we had. We had a bunch of great
We're
guys.
going to come back, aren't we?
We are. So getting up close and personal with Frankie Scinta. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And then we're going to talk about what's the future for the Frankie Scinta show. Hey, we're back live. My name's Mark with My Vegas Magazine and with the amazing Frankie Scinta. And Frankie, We just
We
finished
did.
getting personal with Frankie.
We did.
Let's move on to our next segment. This is our last 15 minutes. This was going to be about what's next for Frankie, the Scintas, and Las Vegas. Let's go ahead and dig in a little bit now. So where do we go from here?
Well, when Joe passed away, one of the phone calls I got, hundreds of calls, thousands of messages, emails. My musical director that worked with us for 5 years, I do some orchestral events with him.
Okay.
32-piece, 50-piece orchestra.
Nice.
Which I love, man. That was my dream. And the first time we did it,
With the big band.
violins,
Everything.
I mean,
Strings
just,
over here,
oh,
horns over there.
timpani, harp. You know, when you do a
Bom,
big
bom,
ballad,
bom, bom,
oh
bom,
my
bom.
God. It was so amazing. He called me and he said, I want to talk to you. And this is Mariano Longo. And I said, what? He goes, you're going to keep the Scinta's name. I said, well, you know, we're the Scintas. He goes, no, you're not. He goes, the Scintas are done. Joey's gone. Chrissy's no longer in the show because of her vocal cords. He goes, this is your time. Now, the first time I heard that, I was watching Jersey Boys, the musical. And I never, it was I don't remember if it was New York or Chicago, where I saw the actual play. And when his musical director said, Frankie, it's your time. You got to go out on your own. I've heard that my whole life. And I always said, where am I going without my family?
Yeah.
I mean, even these guys, they came to me and they go, what if we just want you? Honest to God.
Yeah, I remember the story. Yeah.
What if we just want you? I go, if anybody knows family, you guys do.
Right.
How could I leave my family for any amount of money? Well, he said, you got to stand on your own 2 feet. You can't be going on the Scinta's name. This is your time. This is your time to capitalize you. He goes, you've always loved this the most. I go, what am I going to call it? Frankie Scinta? He goes, no, you're the showman. And I go, geez, I'm not an I, me guy. Never been.
Right.
I said, I don't, there's a lot of entertainers that are. God bless them for that. I'm not that guy. But he says, you are the showman. Because that's what you got to call the show. Frankie Scinta, the showman. So it was very difficult. I pondered it for months. Finally, I said, it's time. So everywhere we travel now, it's, the showman, Frankie Scinta. And that's the future. There's a lot of other things coming down the pipes. I've been talking to some very big people in the industry who want to do a one-man show. It wouldn't be here in Vegas, though.
Okay.
It would come here, but it wouldn't be exclusively here.
Okay.
But it would be in theaters around the country, in big theaters. And the person that's backing this, writing and producing the show, is very big in the industry. And I'm not allowed to talk about it yet, but when I am, my Vegas magazine's going to get the first.
Yay.
With that person, I'll
Good.
have that person here.
Okay.
And that's big.
All right, good.
When
I'm
you
ready.
find out who it is, it's just. But they came to
Huge.
me with the
Huge.
They came good. You're good. They came to me with this idea, and even the title of it made me cry. I started crying. As soon as she gave me the title of what she wants to name the show, I broke down and said, "Oh my God!"
Wow.
So until that happens, I'm going forward with my band, Janine, Pete. I'm going to do that anyway, no matter what I do.
Sure, yeah.
We're going this summer. We're traveling to the Thousand Islands,
Okay.
up on the St. Lawrence River. We're traveling to Detroit. We're traveling to New York, Buffalo, Syracuse, Chicago. So we're traveling everywhere, man.
Hey, speaking of Buffalo, do you when you go back home, have you got some family? I mean, friends and family. That
I
must
got a
know
lot
some-
of friends and cousins.
cousins.
All the uncles have passed and aunts.
all right.
A lot of cousins that when I get there, I spend all my time
Oh,
there.
nice.
At
They,
my
they,
cou-
they pack your show, I imagine. They fill it up. Out
Oh
there.
yeah, they do. They do. They come. I don't have as many as I used to. You
Because
know,
Buffalo's not Vegas, so you got to be, I mean, while you got competition here, you probably don't have any competition there.
no, when we go there, it's a sellout.
It's a sellout.
Between 11 and 1,800 people
Man.
every show. We're very blessed. That's been happening everywhere around the country.
Now,
And-
you played every showroom in Vegas. Let me ask you this. What do you think is what would be your like ultimate showroom to play in if you got a residency here in Vegas? Which showroom you say like, wow, if I could play there?
Well, I have a residency at the South Point.
At the South Point
but
now.
there's so many shows there, and God bless them, that they give people a variety
Okay.
that I'm not there as much as I'd like to be
Okay.
there. But it's okay because I have other.
How's that showroom? You love that one?
That is one of the premier showrooms in Vegas. I mean, the back wall of the stage is LED, and you could put anything you want up there. The
Yes.
entire thing. The best sounded light crew, I think, in Vegas. Lou, that worked for Garth Brooks for 3 years at the Wynn, was Garth's sound man.
Wow.
He's my sound man over there. And the lighting guy, Joey, everybody that works there just puts their whole heart into it.
Nice.
And so I'm very blessed. State-of-the-art sound, lights, everything, crew.
Wow.
And, all I do is walk on stage and perform. That's an entertainer's dream.
Man.
I guess if I were to wish for a room, I don't know if the big rooms are good anymore for guys like me.
Okay.
Because even A stars still have trouble filling rooms in Vegas on a regular basis. If they come in one night a year, they're going to pack it. But when you're there 3 nights a week for a month, it's not as easy as, like I said, 160,000 seats to fill every night.
Do you think we have too many seats in Vegas? Too many shows?
I don't know if there's too many shows because it is still the entertainment capital. But I think there should be more small showrooms for guys like Clint Holmes, guys like Frankie Scinta, guys like Earl Turner, that really help polish the stone that we have today. We were never big stars, may never be. I don't care. But we were the acts that the locals and the visitors came to see. And it wasn't a $300 ticket. And you could have a great time. After the show, there were the lounges. In the hotel. Folks, we're done right now, but we're going to go to the lounge. We'll see you over there for a drink.
Right.
Now you brought 200-300 people.
To the lounge.
What could be better for a
Those-
casino?
Yeah, those were the great days.
Yeah, that was great. So I look forward to the future. My immediate future, I look forward to being at the South Point more, which I believe is going to happen. And I love going around town to places like the Italian American Club. I love supporting local talent in this town. And I think locals appreciate it. Because not every local can go see these big stars 3 nights a week. If you go once a month, you're done.
Yeah, I'm with you there 100%. Promoting the local talent here is something that just grabs me by the entire heart and soul for this town, because those national celebrities that hit our strip and come in the strip and come and go, if you will, God bless them. They've got these national recognition and whatnot, but they're not the ones polishing the stone, as you said. The Vegas stone.
They're coming in, doing what they got to do, and then they're out of here.
Yeah, and that's it. And so, the local talent, which is why I think I told you about it, the Las Vegas Entertainment Awards is coming.
I
dot
give you a
com.
lot of credit.
We're going to have a good time with that. That's going to be coming up. And
I'm honored to be here on your show.
Well, thank you very
Honest
much
to
for
God.
that.
And what you've done for this community, for local entertainment, local restaurants, local doctors, everybody in this industry, what you do in Vegas with your magazine is putting everybody in the front line.
Well, you know what we're proud of? We kind of it kind of all came to fruition to culminate it into where we're at today. What we do today now with My Vegas is we let people tell their story, whether it's a businessman, entertainer like you, your story. Whether you're in entertainment, you're in business, you're a lawyer, a doctor, you're a dentist, you're a Zumba instructor. Everybody's got a story in this town, and we want to hear yours.
And that's great, because without you,
Yeah,
We'd all be looked over.
it's so
man.
kind of fun.
You're
It's
the
kind of
best.
fun letting everybody tell their story. So, in wrapping up with that, I do
You can
want to.
see me at the South Point. You can see me at your local hangouts.
Have you ever thought of the Smith Center?
Yes, I have. I don't know if I'm a Smith Center entertainer.
You don't know?
Well, yes, I have thought of it, and we've talked about it. I've talked about it with Byron.
2 or 3 times a
Is
year.
it Byron? Martin. Why am I getting his name wrong? Well, we could edit that out.
But 2 or 3 times a year.
Myron Martin.
Myron Martin.
Yes, I've discussed it with him. I would do that if there was no South Point. I would definitely do that.
I could see a hell of a show there with you.
You don't mean in the big theater. You mean in the showroom that the other.
Yeah, I call it the green room, whatever that
Yeah,
room is.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a great room,
It'd be
and that's
fun.
another great sound and light crew there. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll do my one-man show there.
Yeah.
That would be a nice.
After this, we should talk about some biz. We'll have a little business discussion in private. But in the meantime,
like a sit down.
how are we doing on time? I think, are we down
We're
there?
doing great. I mean, if we're gonna have a sit down, you sit down with a Sicilian, it's pretty serious.
That's right.
He might be in trouble.
That's right.
But I'm honored to be here today, and you know what? Keep supporting My Vegas magazine. Keep supporting local talent, and you know what? It's a big town to people around the world, but us that live here, it's just a little town.
It's just a small, yeah.
That's it. Just like
It's
every
smaller
other town.
every day.
It is, man.
Well, you're a big guy in my eyes. I love
I
you,
love
Frankie.
you too,
Thank you
buddy.
for being with us today on this interview. Now we're going to get we got the photo. You got me some more photos. We're going to be putting together the whole story.
My website, frankiescinta.com. You can go there and see
frankiescinta.com.
where I'm going and what I'm doing. See my parole officer next week. That's on there.
And so much fun. So thanks again, Frankie.
My
All right,
pleasure.
I'm looking forward to the future with you and hanging
You
out
too,
and,
buddy.
and some of that Mama's cooking. Mama Scinta
invited.
cooking. I'll be there. Until then, thanks for watching. Mark, My Vegas Magazine, Frankie Scinta, the showman. We'll see you around Vegas somewhere.